Okay, very good day for COSM. I want to go ahead and make a quick video here for this asset because I have essentially restarted an entirely new chart here so that I can show you what I'm looking at in a more clear perspective, right? So let's go ahead and get this started. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with the COSM technicals and raw price action thread of analysis on this happy Monday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. Okay, so yes, we are looking at COSM on the daily chart here, and I want to just show you what my perspective is for you. Okay, so first of all, let's just go ahead and touch down on the most obvious things. Okay, we're riding a broadening descending wedge. Yes, we've been looking at that for quite some time now. Okay. Now, the next thing to notice here is that this box here that I've actually highlighted, this box represents a demand zone. Okay, so this is definitely a demand zone number one. Okay, of which we have tested several times as resistance, as support right over here from that crazy candle, right? Support right down here, support yet again recently. And yeah, so this is a demand zone. Okay, that's not to say that we have no way to actually come back down to the following zones. In fact, we do have another demand zone to look at. Okay, so this would be our second demand zone right down here. Okay, so I'm not saying that we're going down there again. I just want to plot out or mark up the chart just the way we should be to know where we can be or where we have previous price action, right? So it's important to mark up the chart just like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and touch on a couple other things now. Okay, so I wanna show you this in this perspective because this is it's very much like GTII actually. It's suggesting a potential breakout soon. Okay, and so now what I mean by that is that because GTII, let me just start dimming these down a little bit because we don't need them right now, right? So we'll just get them out of the way just a little bit. I'm not going to take them out though because I still want to keep them in the chart. Okay, so I want you to focus on the broadening descending wedge, right? So the broadening descending wedge does have its own rules in order for us to break out. So meaning that we need about 3 or 4 tests of the resistance. This is the resistance before we can break out, right? So in this case, we have test number 1, 2. This is not a test, right? We have test number 3. And this is test number 4. All of these tests were entirely faked out, but they were bull traps. Okay, so what we're looking at here is that huge capitulation event in order for us to come up and test the breakout number 5. Okay, so usually we break out on test number 5 or 4, 4 being the higher likelihood and 5 also, right? So just 5 is not, it doesn't happen all the time, but it is a viable breakout number. Okay, so when you start getting into 6 and 7, that's when it starts getting a little shaky. Potentially bears can take over. Okay, so right now we are looking at a potential test number 5 coming up, right? But first we need to break out of a very complex structure. Okay, so what you're looking at here is essentially a buy formation structure. Okay, so you have a descending triangle, right? Just like in GTII. And you also have your broadening descending wedge. Okay, so in this case, I can actually just do this right here and I can show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is your broadening descending wedge. Okay, so you have this is what I call a buy formation breakout. Okay, so let's count the resistance touches. 1, 2, and you have test number 3 right here and 4. Okay, so now we have that 4th touch all the way back down. We rejected, right? So now we are potentially breaking out of test number 5 from the triangle and also test number 5 from the broadening descending wedge. So things are looking very good. Okay, I'm definitely a fan of what's happening here. Okay, so I kind of just wanted to restructure the way I've been showing you COSM so that you can gain a clearer picture over what I see. Nothing is guaranteed in the markets, you guys. Nothing at all whatsoever. I don't have a crystal ball. A lot of people call me the wizard, or I have crystal balls, all that. I definitely don't. I'm just a dude who practices mathematical models, from some screens, right? And I just show you my perspective. Okay, so we have a couple of upside validators thus far. Okay, so for example, all right, the last time we printed a bullish engulfing candle structure, sorry, this is one of them, right? So we had an upside move. Then following that, we printed another bullish engulfing, and then we got an upside move. Okay. In this particular case, you're looking at a bearish engulfing where the red candle engulfs the previous green body, right? So then we got that downside move. What I want you to focus on now is that we just printed our first bullish engulfing from the downside. Okay. So this is suggesting a potential continuation to the upside. It is only one signal. Okay. Always, guys, always remember that we have to kind of validate more. We can't just use one thing. Okay. First of all, we are at about 90% to the, or about 80 to 85% completion or to the apex of the triangle itself. Okay. Usually these triangles tend to break out when we're at about 65 to 70% of to the apex of the triangle. So in this case, we're printing a bullish engulfing. We're getting very close to the breakout point right now, to the resistance of this triangle. Those are already two signals that we may potentially attempt an upside continuation. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at some SMAs. Very important to notice on the daily SMA that we have the SMA 10 now converted into a form of support. Very good. Okay, another thing that we can do is look at our 7 and 30 period exponential moving averages. So go ahead and notice here that we are faced resistance from the 7-day exponential moving average. Now, if we are facing resistance from that moving average now, it is very likely that we are facing resistance for another reason itself. So let's go ahead and just take a trend line like this and mark the area where we faced resistance from today. And let's look back. Okay, so let's see. The resistance, oh wow, actually this is something to kind of note. Let me get rid of the moving averages, and I want to show you what just happened. Oh yeah, this is a good sign, guys. Check this out. Okay, so you guys know that I've been talking, yes, this is the demand zone that we've been looking at, right? Yes. But apart from that, it is also a huge gap that we formed right back here in October 2022. And this, yeah, October. So it was definitely about a 10 days, a gap here. So of course we already filled it, right? But the important thing is this. Go ahead and notice that the price action has converted that void into a support. So yet again, another validator for an upside continuation. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it. Things are looking very good for the COSM asset. All right, so now let's go ahead and move on to the next chart, as this is going to be the RSI. All right, so immediately on the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame, let me see the 15. 15 looks like it has maybe a little bit of a pullback, and man, it's very short-lived. Okay, so immediate short-term time frame suggesting just moonshots. Okay, very cool. So we have the 4-hour iteration giving us a resistance range. Okay, and it is in line with the 8-hour as well, or the 6-hour, right? So let me look at the 8-hour to see if it has it there too. Okay, so the 8-hour is right at that resistance. So very likely we are to face some kind of resistance soon. So let's just go ahead and see what that can be. All right, so if we are taking into consideration our previous day fib, swing high to swing low, let's go ahead and take that. Okay, so just like this and mark it like that. Okay, so first of all, this is going to be the next, this space right here is going to be the next day's candle. Okay, so go ahead and notice that the resistance of the triangle is located right at the 1.618. Okay, very likely we can face a resistance at 417 to about 422 tomorrow. Okay, so this is essentially what I'm looking at right here as a resistance range. Okay, we definitely don't want this thing to kind of like, push to the upside just violently like this, because then everybody loses money, right? It's better for us to kind of grow gradually so that we can ensure that we can get ourselves some profits, right? So yeah, very likely we can come up to this area tomorrow. Okay, so the 1.618 to about $4.22, facing the resistance of our triangle. Okay, so this is very much in line to what we're being told from the 4-hour RSI facing the 14-day simple moving average at this resistance. Okay, also the fact that we're very close to that resistance on the 8-hour. Okay, so now beyond that resistance, of course, we're going to just pull back just a little bit and come back, right? And then What I mean is, of course, we're just going to go up here. We're going to pull back just a little bit, very likely test our current highs and or the one spot 272 at $4 before a continuation onto the upside. And why am I saying that? Well, because the RSI is suggesting that. Go ahead and notice that the 12-hour RSI suggesting a massive upside, finding the support from both the 14-day simple moving average and the gravitational zone. Okay, very likely we're going to continue on to the upside there. Now let's look at the daily. The daily finding that support from the 14 and suggesting an upside as well. Okay, so very good times here. So now, of course, if we're looking at the 3-day iteration and the 5-day, they look slightly bearish, right? So what I'm saying here is that the shorter time frames, everything up to the daily, are essentially going to be contributing into the manipulation or the input. I'm sorry, the influence. The influence is the word that I'm looking for. The shorter term time frame RSI are going to be the influencers to this higher term, to potentially pivot this to the upside. Okay, so everything is suggesting a next day upside. Okay, so I'm definitely looking at COSM in the green tomorrow. Okay, so this is very good, you guys. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever, okay? I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be just fine. All right, so please take a moment to check out the links in the description below where you will find the Twitter and the Discord links, okay, you guys? But with that said, I wish you well, a very good night. And I will catch you at the bell mañana. Oh, one thing. Remember, CPI data released tomorrow, okay? We're going to face a lot of turbulence in the markets, okay? Please, please, please watch your longs, okay? Make sure to respect your risk management. All right, you guys have a good night. And I'll catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.